we told you about a recall of infant formula earlier this week, and it's now been expanded. This is for ByHeart Whole Nutrition Infant Formula. The recall now has been expanded to include all lots of the brand's Whole Nutrition Infant Formula. At first, when we told you about it, I believe it was only 2 lots. It has been connected to 15 cases of infant botulism from 12 states, and yes, that does include Illinois. So now the Illinois Department of Public Health is urging parents and guardians to just discontinue use of this brand of powdered infant formula. And I want to bring in Deputy State Epidemiologist Connie Austin to talk a little bit more about where we are with this situation and where we go from here. Thank you for your time.
Yes, a very important issue. Are you?
I'm getting an echo. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, let's try it again.
Okay, my name is Connie Austin, and I'm here to talk to you today about a very important issue for parents with infants. There is a recall on the ByHeart infant formula, and the reason for this is that there have been 15 infants across the U.S. in 12 states that have taken in this formula and then have developed infant botulism, which is a very serious disease. So we want parents to be aware right now, if you have ByHeart in your house, you want to make sure you put a do not use on it, and you can dispose of it in the trash, or you could store it up high in a cabinet in case your infant were to develop this botulism. Then might need it for testing. So the big message is for parents. I know some parents are probably very worried if they use this product. Is that first of all, it's a very rare disease, so that's good news. And second of all, there is actually a good treatment for this disease. So if an infant were to develop symptoms, the doctor can consult with the California Infant Botulism Program, and they can just send the treatment to that doctor. So that's very reassuring that we do have a good treatment. So what parents should do if they have fed this infant formula to their baby is to watch for 30 days after the last time they fed this formula. They should watch them for any symptoms of botulism. And these symptoms are available on websites, but also it's just a change in facial expression, difficulty in the infant holding its head up, and various decreases, like I said, in facial expression, poor feeding, and difficulty swallowing. So if you should see this in your infant who has had this formula, you need to call your doctor and make sure you say, I have used this ByHeart formula with this infant, and here are the symptoms I'm seeing, and they will then guide you as to what your next step should be. So those are the important things. In Illinois, we have had 2 cases. One is confirmed and one is pending confirmation by laboratories. So I really hope that parents who have infants check what formula they're using, make sure they no longer use the ByHeart formula, and then label it do not use if they throw it away in the trash, or if they want to keep it just in case and put it up on a high shelf. Now, some people have said, well, what can I give my infant a preventive treatment? No, there is not a preventive treatment. So it's mainly monitoring your child and making sure they stay okay. And if not, call your doctor. And again, there is a good treatment available.
Yeah, and I'm seeing here that testing isn't effective until symptoms are actually present. But of course, if a parent hears that this is happening, they may want to, even if they're not seeing a symptom, say, oh, I'm taking my child in. But you're saying not to do that, to wait for something to happen.
Correct. There's no testing that you can do right now before any symptoms are available to see if your child has been affected. You need to wait and see if symptoms develop. And it's a very, complicated test to run. So we only want to run it on infants that really have symptoms of botulism and the doctor thinks that is what they have.
Mm-hmm. When you say a complicated test, can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah, so they have to send in serum from the baby. It has to go to, in Illinois, it would go to an Ohio lab. And they have to do various testing, including injecting it into mice and watching if the mice die, and then taking some of the samples from the mice to do additional testing. It's a very prolonged process. So if the infant does need to be treated, then we would want to do that before any test results were back. But again, only if they have, symptoms of botulism. So it's a very worrisome time, for parents, but just so they know, again, there's a good treatment. It is, it's very rare, so it's unlikely that they would develop botulism, but just to monitor them to be sure.
Yeah, and so if your child does have this infant botulism, how long does it take to kind of run its course, and how bad can things get in that time?
Yes, it is. Most infants, actually all infants I know of who have had infant botulism are hospitalized, so they're very monitored very carefully. The disease can result in paralysis, so it can move down the body. But if the treatment is given quickly, then the infant generally rebounds and is doing much better. But it can take weeks for that process. So that's why we do want parents to be very sure not to use ByHeart formula right now. This is not something they want to be giving their baby.
How concerned are you that this could be a bigger issue than just ByHeart?
Well, right now, the infants that have infant botulism, the parents are interviewed for any child that has botulism, and they're asked about what infant formula they use. Also, another thing is you should never give your baby honey. We have not seen any of these children having received honey. They have all received this ByHeart formula. So that is why we're focused very much on this particular formula.
Okay, and then what actually causes the botulism, or what causes the issue in the formula?
So the formula probably has Clostridium botulinum, which is the bacteria that causes this. The baby ingests that, and then the bacteria multiplies and begins to produce a toxin, and the toxin then affects the baby in these various ways that I've mentioned as far as symptoms. So it's the bacteria multiplying inside the infant in their GI tract.
But is the bacteria in there because it sat out too long, or there was some cross-contamination? What causes this in the formula?
Yeah, and that's what FDA is working on now. They are going out to the plants that make this. They are investigating carefully to figure out how this formula became a problem for infant botulism. So that issue is still pending FDA's investigation.
Mm-hmm. And so how long does the FDA take to investigate these types of things?
Yeah, it's just going to depend on how long, again, the testing takes a long time. So if they're doing some testing, that's going to take a while. But, it's probably going to be weeks at least until they figure out what might have happened.
A lot of parents will see something like this and say, oh no, I'm not doing infant formula. I need to go a different direction or make it myself. I remember there was another issue before and people said, I'm going to make it myself. Is that the answer?
No, I mean, this is the only formula that has been implicated in this infant botulism outbreak. So I would definitely focus on not using ByHeart products. But the other products have not been implicated.
Mm-hmm. But if they're worried now about this possibly, because we don't know what caused it in this. So, if you have an infant at home and you see this and you're thinking, well, all right, well, that's for ByHeart, but is what I have safe, and should I even trust it?
Yeah, and again, they have not seen it. When the parents answer the question about what infant formula their children have been on, that is not, no other formula has come up as repeatedly, as this ByHeart formula. So that is why CDC and FDA are both focusing on ByHeart. So that is the one that we want parents to avoid, not any other particular infant formula.
Mm-hmm. And have you seen anything like this before?
No, we have not had any other outbreaks of infant botulism in Illinois, for the last 25 years. So it's very uncommon for this to happen, and it's a very rare disease. We typically only have 1 to 4 cases every year. So it's just unusual for this to happen.
Mm-hmm. Well, my thoughts and prayers, obviously, for the families of the children who are affected already. And I hope that everyone will heed your words and throw out that product so that we don't have an increase of cases in our state. Thank you so much for your time and sharing your expertise.
Yes, thank you.